precious people, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gerard, and I'm the president and CEO of Gerard Cosmetics. This here is Yogi Gerard. He is the official mascot of Gerard Cosmetics, and this channel is monetized for charity, which means by watching the videos, watching the ads, sharing the videos, leaving a little like or a little comment, you are supporting two fabulous charities in my area. The first is the domestic violence program at the Child and Family Center, and the other is Rescues on the Runway, which is an awesome dog rescue. So if this is your first time here, don't forget to give the video a like, and if you click the subscribe button down below and ring the bell, you will know anytime this guy and I upload a new video. So if you saw the video title, you probably know this is a little bit different kind of video than I normally do, but I've had so many questions and just so much love for this guy in my DMs on Twitter and everywhere else that I really just wanted to, number one, say thank you and kind of let you guys know everything that happened. And I'm hoping that what went on with Yogi can possibly help someone else in the future. So I'm going to be sharing that information with you today. I want to start out with just a couple of things. So number one, if you like my hair clip, it is from Sin's Creations. It's Mrs. Sin E. She's a good friend of mine here on YouTube and an incredible artist. And I'm going to link her down below in case you want to check out her Etsy shop. And then I will show you that I am also personal chef to this guy now. So I decided after this scare that I don't want to give Yogi any processed food. So I am making all of his food myself. These are dehydrated sausages that I made in my dehydrator, and you can tell that he is obsessed. I also made him beef jerky and a whole bunch of other stuff, which we'll get into later. But this all started back shortly after the lockdown started, maybe in like April or early May. He started being kind of crabby. Like I would go over and love on him and he just kind of grumble at me under his breath. And then sometimes I'd be walking by, not even touching him, and he would just start to yelp for no reason. And this is very out of character for him. You guys know I've had him since he was 1 hour old. He fit in my hand. I just know everything about this guy and it just didn't seem right. So I took him to the vet, and the vet told me that he was faking for attention. And I know I talked about it on this channel at one time or another. So he gave me some anti-inflammatories for him, and he really, he was so stressed out when I took him to the vet. I mean, I wasn't allowed inside for the examination, but I could hear him screeching in there. And of course I go tearing in there because that's my baby. And they're like, we swear, we didn't do anything. We just tried to take his temperature. So I'm like, okay. But then when I took him back, when it started up a few weeks later, they did let me inside, and he was real nervous. He was shaking. He pooped in their waiting room. And I didn't really know what that was all about. But at this point, we could see that one side of his head, like over here, was higher than this side, just right here on top. So I took him to the vet, and the vet still says he's faking. And I'm like, well, he can't fake that. He can't fake one side of his head being higher than the other. So the vet said, well, he probably got bit by something. I'll give you some antibiotics and some anti-inflammatories, and we'll see what it does. So the antibiotics seemed to do the trick. He seemed to be fine in a few days, stopped with the yelping and all of that. And then as we got further into summer, maybe into August, it started to come back. And I was like, I don't want to take him back to that vet that thought he was faking. So, hi, honey, I love you too. I took him to another vet, and that vet was like, well, he probably just rammed his head into something. And he is like, he does kind of lead with his head, and he does like crash into the walls and stuff all the time. So I was willing to buy that. And he's like, we're going to give him some anti-inflammatories, and if that doesn't fix it up, then we'll go in and drain it. So we gave him the anti-inflammatories. The swelling definitely went down. And then as soon as he got off the anti-inflammatories, it started to come back. So I called the vet to make an appointment, and they were like, oh, well, he might have cancer. You need to take him to a specialist and all this. And they didn't tell me that before, because I even asked the vet, like, point blank, do you think he has a tumor or something? And the vet laughed at me. He's like, well, if he had a brain tumor, like, you wouldn't, it would be inside his skull. You wouldn't be able to see the, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, dude. So, here I am driving around with him. Now his head is starting to swell up, really big. And I'll insert a picture so that you can see, but like one side was sticking out to here. So I take him to the one hospital vet that's a little further drive from here, and waited 2 hours to see them. They took one look at him and said, well, he needs a specialist, so go to this place. So I call that place, and that place is like, no, we can't see him. And then I found another specialist that wasn't too far away. So I drove him over there. And by the time I got there, it was 5 after 5. And now I've got the emergency vet. So all the specialists have gone home because it's 5 o'clock. And so they charged me a whole lot of money, and they drained it with a needle. And then they sent him home with some antibiotics and stuff. And they said they were going to do a culture and, see if something was growing in there or if there were cancer cells or whatever. So I waited like 3 days and they never called. So I called them like 17 times, and then they finally told me, okay, yeah, well, the 48-hour culture is clear. And there's no evidence of cancer. It seems to just be some kind of abscess. But there wasn't any like bacteria or any like infection that they could see. So I wasn't quite sure about the abscess thing, but nonetheless, in the meantime, I talked to my friend who owns rescues on the Runway and said, listen, here's what I'm going through with Yogi. And she's like, you need to take him to this doctor. Take him to Dr. Cisneros. He's the best. I've seen him diagnose things that no other doctor's been able to see. So, and he's close to me. So called and made an appointment. I took him in there, and at this point it was swollen out to here, and the doctor's like, okay, well, the first thing we need to do is drain it for real, put drains in so that if there's any like, pus or whatever that needs to come out, it can come out. So he did that and wrapped Yogi up like a mummy after, which Yogi hated the bandages, didn't mind the surgery, but hated the bandages. And so he had a drain here and a drain here on his face. And, after a week or so, he took the drains out. Everything seemed to be okay. He was taking antibiotics and anti-inflammatories. And then it wasn't even like 2 weeks that the swelling started to come back. And Julia noticed it right away and pointed it out to me. So I took him to the vet before it got a chance to get really big again. And the vet's like, okay, we've tried like kind of all the non-invasive ways to see what's going on here, but he was feeling like in the muscles on above his eyebrows and saying, I can feel on this side that it's kind of hard. Do you mind? Sit. Can you sit? Sit. If you sit, I'll give you a sausage. Sit. Thank you. There, go, buddy. So, so he said, I can feel like over here that it's hard, and on this side it's soft. And he said, I think there's a growth in there. So this was on Monday, 2 Mondays ago. And we made an appointment for Wednesday morning. So I dropped him off Wednesday morning, picked him up Wednesday afternoon. And, because of COVID, like things were a little weird and there was a lot of people in the waiting room. So he came outside to talk to me before they brought Yogi out. And I could just see on his face that he was very concerned. I felt like he thought it was cancer. I could just tell by the way he was, by the look on his face, And he said, well, I got in there and the first layer of muscle tissue was really good. It was nice and pink and everything. He's like, but then as soon as I cut into the muscle a little, there was like this jello-y mess in there. And he said, I cleaned it all out. I submitted the samples for a biopsy, and, we'll wait to find out if the cells are malignant or not, malignant meaning cancer. And, we'll go from there. So they bandaged him up, he's all swollen. He's got stitches. I don't know if you can see them, but he's got them all the way down the side of his face. I'll insert a picture, stitches all the way down. And, he doesn't seem to mind the stitches. He hates the bandages are not his thing. He's not like the bandages, but he loves this vet. He's very chill when we go in there. He's just like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Hi. He doesn't want to get weighed, which I don't blame him. Grand doesn't like to get weighed either. And he doesn't like to go to the back. So he will not go to the back unless I walk with him. But once he gets back there, he's fine. So, so I brought him home and I've been waiting. And, I after a couple of days, I finally posted about it on social media, and, everybody was just so sweet. I had people like DMing me. I'm going to try not to get emotional. People like DMing me prayers for him. And I mean, you just can't even know what that 9 days was like. I mean, it was horrible. So on Wednesday, I got a call. Actually, I took him to the vet on Tuesday because his stitches had bled some, and I had taken him in and had him rewrapped one time right after the surgery. But now 6 days, 7 days after the surgery, little fissures are just opening up on his face because now the stitches are sealed, and little fissures of blood, like you might be able to see, there's one right here, and there was one over here, and he just started bleeding from random places on his face, which scared the living daylights out of me. So I took him to the doctor on Tuesday, and the doctor said, listen, I talked to the lab this morning. They said they're going to have the results by the end of the day. By this time, it's like 4:15, and they never got the results that day. But I got a call from him the next day, right after lunch, and he says, listen, I have mostly good news. He says, he said that tumor was not cancerous, but what he has is a very rare, very destructive bacteria called nocardia. And he says, it's very rare. We don't see it very often. It's super destructive with tissue. And he's like, I am going to tell you, when I was doing the surgery and I opened it up and I saw the tissue and how bad it was destroyed, you know, the only thing that I could think that could do that would be malignancy. But, you know, now that they've told me what this is, everything makes sense. Everything that's happened, everything that that he's been through, all the different, you know, stages of progression and all of that, I get it now. So he said, this is treatable with antibiotics. It wouldn't come up on a normal culture, so we need to put him on a different antibiotic. And I'm like, I'll be right there. I went right over in my pajamas and picked it up. Don't judge me for being in my pajamas at 3 p.m. You know, it's lockdown. So that was Wednesday. I gave him the first dose Wednesday night. By Thursday morning, you could already see that everything was starting to shrink up and heal. And we go back on Wednesday to get his stitches out. He is still a little bit swollen over here. Like if you look at his face, it's not perfectly symmetrical. You know, he's a little swollen down here on this side. Yes, I know, you're so cute. Can you see the paw? And he's, you know, he's a happy camper at this point and all back to normal. But what the doctor said was that this bacteria had to have been introduced to his system in the exact spot where the tumor was, meaning inside the muscle. So he had to have either been bitten by something or... Can you come over here and sit down? Come over here and sit. Come on. Come over here and sit. Yes, you cool. You cool. So, he said it had to have been introduced in the same spot, either through like, you know, some kind of bite, or he likes to stick his head in the rose bush. So maybe a thorn or something like that was carrying the bacteria. But now that I know that the bacteria has probably been around my property, because that's where he spends 99% of his time, I'm going to be super duper careful with him. He doesn't go outside much anyways. Like he goes outside in the mornings to play for a little bit. But other than that, he just goes out to go to the bathroom. I mean, he's a couch potato. He has no interest in being outside. He doesn't want to go for walks. When you get out the leash, he's like, oh, do I have to? So, you know, we're just going to keep a really good eye on you. In the meantime, I decided I am not going to give him any dog food anymore, because dog food, despite the dog food that we give him being good dog food, it's processed. And, you know, processed food can have chemicals and things in it that can make you sick. And since he's already had a tumor, I'm putting him on an anti-tumor diet that is very high in protein, no complex carbohydrates, no starches that don't turn into sugar in your system. So I'm giving him only like low glycemic carbs. So right now, I made him a chicken in the crock pot and I cooked it. It's very important that you cook on low. So I cooked it on low until it just fell apart. And then I took the neck and the gizzards, because it's very good for them to have organ meat. The organ meat has all the stem cells and all of that. So I took the chicken and the gizzards and I chopped it up, put it inside, mixed it up with the meat, chopped that up all real fine, put that aside. And then I put vegetables in the juice that was left in the crock pot. So I made him sweet potatoes, which he loves, and turnips, which by the way have cancer fighting properties. And I have put broccoli, cauliflower, and parsley in the mixture and just let it cook in the chicken juice until it was mashable. And then I mashed it and he loves it. So right now we're trying to wean him off the dog food. He's getting about a third dog food, about a third meat, and about a third of the vegetable mixture. But he is cleaning his bowl instantly every time we feed him. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, huh? So, and then I made him beef jerky for snacks. I just took a tri-tip roast that I had in the freezer and I sliced it up. You can use beef round, tri-tip, London broil, almost almost any kind of roast. I just sliced it up, put it in the dehydrator, and he is obsessed, absolutely obsessed. So I'm afraid he's gonna have gained some weight since last week when we get back to the vet on Wednesday, but that is we're okay with that. He is happy. I'm happy to be his personal chef. And I want to tell you guys about something that I discovered during all of this. So of course, you know, when you're thinking my child might have cancer, and he is my child. I mean, I have had him since he's 1 hour old. I don't have children. So he is my baby. And, you know, I was so concerned, and I'm one of these people that, you know, when it looks like something bad could be happening, I have to make a plan. If I make a plan, I'm okay, you know? So I started digging around, looking at cancer diets and things like that so that I could change his diet right away. Because I know that I looked into that, and while I was Googling cancer diets for dogs, I found this company called PhytoCure, and I'm going to link them down in my description box. What they do is they take a piece of the tissue, they map out the DNA of the tumor. So they can figure out exactly what targeted therapies can work for your dog. And I had a consultation with a lovely girl named Hannah, who was so sweet. And, you know, I wanted to be ready just in case the news came in bad. And what she told me was that they do use targeted therapies in human cancers, but apparently they're only able to map out the genetic sequence of about 20% of human tumors. With canine tumors, they're able to map out more like 60 to 70%. So the targeted therapies are very, very successful. And so what she said was basically that that's what they would do. And then she says all of the human cancer drugs have had canine trials. So they've all been tested on dogs at some point. So why not give them to dogs if, you know, if they need them? And they have a very high success rate. She was just so sweet, and she helped me to understand, you know, everything that was going on. I also watched a little piece that was on CNBC that I found online, and it talked about PhytoCure and how they took in 38 dogs that had been deemed terminal, and terminal in dogs usually means like they have 60 days to live. And 13 months later, 2/3 of these dogs were still alive after going through PhytoCure. So that is pretty darn good. And so I wanted to talk about them and make sure that everybody knew about them, just in case, you know, you do have a friend or somebody whose animal, you know, comes down with cancer, and it's good to know that they're there, and just hope that you don't ever need them. So, yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks, but we are doing amazing. Huh, Mr. Picky Pants is happy. I made him sweet potato chips. He's like, no, girl, I'm not eating that. I'm eating the beef jerky. Little booger. But apparently, Julia's dog that's here for training loves the sweet potato chips, so they're not going to go to waste. But anyways, that's all I have for this video. I just really, again, want to say thank you for all the love and support for me and this guy. He is everything to me. I love you the most. Yes, I do. And I can't even tell you how much all of your love and support means to me. It's been a really hard couple of weeks. I feel kind of like, you know, after that, but so happy. Yes, so happy. So, I just wanted to say thank you so much and let you guys know kind of everything that happened. I hope this video, but he's my dude. So don't forget to give the video a like. And if you made it this far, why not share the video? Because sharing, after all, is caring. And if you click the subscribe button down below and ring the bell, you will know anytime this guy and I upload a new video. So you never know what is coming. Actually, I have a video uploaded that will be going up soon. It's been up. Is random things I bought on the internet, random crap I bought on the internet. I think the emergency preparedness version, and it's pretty funny. So some of the stuff that you know, that you need for emergency preparedness. So maybe you want to catch up on that. And until next time, I just hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you are having a totally awesome day. You want to say bye, Yogi? Say bye. And I'll be talking to you very, very soon.